Welcome once again, everybody, to Blockbuster Mentality. I'm your host, Ben. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes, rate, review us. We've been getting more ratings and reviews. It's helping us climb those charts. We'd appreciate it if you continue to do that. Let your friends know. And if you haven't done it, please do it. Another fun show for you folks this week. As that's a running theme of the show, that it's a fun show. So tell your friends. No, but another great guest. Dave and I discuss Easy Rider with Dennis Hopper, Peter Fonda, Jack Nicholson, classic film from 1969. We discuss it with comedian and actor Rick Overton. I might know him from Groundhog Day, Willow, Beverly Hills Cop. He has a lot of acting credits. He was Pam Beesly's father in The Office. He's been around a while, and he was a treat to talk to. Very passionate about this film, and just a passionate dude all around, and very funny guy. We had a lot of fun with him, and we're already planning another episode with him. So really hope you guys enjoy this. Let us know what your thoughts are on Easy Rider after you listen to the episode. Tweet us at BlockbusterCast, Instagram at Blockbuster Mentality, and also that's where you'll get all the updates on the show when new episodes come out, everything like that. But all right, without further ado, here is our conversation with Rick Overton on Easy Rider.
Pollen season.
I thought you were doing a line of Coke or something like the movie.
Oh, sure. Yeah, this is a smart move. Bam. Yeah, right.
That would be great. Are you still doing
my house? I paint the wall with my own heart.
Exactly.
You gotta check the quality.
That's right. Are you still doing gigs with the whole pandemic? Have you done a gig? No, not so much.
No, but I am turning into a zombie.
Oh yeah?
Yes. I've done so many Zooms. I'm a zombie now.
Zombie.
Yes, it's the rise of the zombies, dawn of the zombies.
Is that a term you coined?
There, we're just starting this premise. I was just getting come on, and so I'm forming a union. A union for Zoom for ZAG, and that'll be
there you go.
Zoom attending attendees guild, and then ZIG, which is Zoom interested guild. It's for people that they're lurkers and not really chiming in or commenting, but they're watching. But they deserve a guild.
How do I get
in on this?
Yeah, how do I get a ZAG card?
You send me $100 for your dues, and I'm going to work on eventually getting some swag.
Okay, that sounds terrible.
Be rich, and I'll get you some swag eventually, like a cup or one of those things they print over at Cafe Press or whatever.
Worth it.
Oh, it's totally worth it, because you can proudly hold the mug and explain over and over what it means.
Now,
Rick.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Sorry, Rick, when did you know you were funny?
I'm funny?
Yeah, you are. You absolutely are.
Man, one whole career, I completely... Oh, God. The classroom, I think, is where it was. And my dad loved comedy. He was a jazz guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about being a jazz guy is if you have a secret desire to be funny, it takes a really special combo of because jazz is all about being cool.
Yeah.
It's not about it's about not being vulnerable. Humor comes from vulnerability. Being like whenever the comic who had tried to just be zany before would try to be cool in the next film for the comedy, that comedy never does any good because the cool of it takes away why we linked to the comedy of it.
Yeah.
And so Dad had some challenges with, living out both as this cool jazz piano guy and as a comedian. So the secret other life of Dad was this comedy guy. And he'd take me up to the attic as a kid and he'd drop the needle on a Jonathan Winters album, on a Bob Newhart album. And so the best stuff at the time, Yeah. And Mira. I got a education in comedy early on, and then we'd sit around the Sullivan Show and watch TV with comedians coming on.
Yeah.
And Dad loved Peter Sellers.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
it kind of loaded up on me, you know? And he being a musician and my wanting to do something in entertainment, I don't think I was going to follow in his shoes. This just, I don't think I have it. My brother has it. I don't have it. But I wanted to use rhythm and I wanted to use timing. And the other way to do that is get a laugh, you know?
Right. Yeah. And
The first time in class. So this is the longest answer you're ever going to get for that question. But I'm showing sort of etymological history of how you get to that place.
That's what we were looking
I've
for.
been thinking about this a lot. It was not just the girl in class who did this.
No?
Oh, a head tilt. Oh man, you got a head tilt. That make you stay on a life path after that. You know?
Right. Yeah.
There's a romantic drop of blood in you. And so I was right around that, and just seeing that everyone liked the class liked it, you know.
Right.
Not every class likes it, and not everyone who goes for a laugh can get that. It's how you get the laugh. But I had heroes like Winters, and a lot of the people liked Jonathan Winters.
Now,
And so my teachers did too. It was a lucky break.
was your dad, because I see you're from Queens, New York, is that correct?
Yeah.
Was your dad from there?
No, he's from Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Oh, get out of town. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. No,
Well,
they're not close to each other, but
He went into the Army and then came out and wanted to do jazz in Manhattan, lived in Queens.
Yeah.
And then found out that the parking was getting nuts in Queens. So that's how long ago it was. Parking was getting nuts in Queens. and we moved to Englewood, which is considered a sort of a suburb of Manhattan, like Englewood Cliffs. It's the Sopranos, everybody, commute.
Yeah.
So there's different strata of money. At the top of the hill's money, and then down the hill is more middle class. So we're in the middle class part, but that's because Dizzy Gillespie helped us find a house, and Thelonious did. So we hear them. So that's
so
that's
they
why
told you. Sorry, they made it clear that the parking was okay there.
Parking was much better in 66 with New Jersey. No meters everywhere. You could just park, you could go to the store, come out. It was great.
Did now with your comedy, so did stand up come first and then acting came after? Or was it just kind of the typical? I met a guy, Roger Sullivan, through my buddy Bill Spitz, and he said, "You got to work with this guy and do a comedy." He said, "I was in another comedy team in high school, Ton Pastor, and we were Overton Pastor for high school sketches and routines and things like that." And then Ton went and got, he got work down in Florida. Last day, he's doing great. Yeah, and
it wasn't comedy, and he's a very funny guy, but he put it to sales and is killed in that market. So I wanted a partner. I didn't know if I could do it on my own, so I wanted another partner. And then my buddy Bill says, "How about Roger Sullivan?" So for 5 years, we were a team. And the thing about teams is, when you're not getting paid and you're just doing freebie shows, oh, you were magnificent. And the second there's a paycheck,
ooh, yeah,
there's a big difference, because they don't pay you twice for one time frame on the stage. You have to split that check.
Yeah.
And it becomes about whose premise was more important than whose punchline, and who's the gasoline, and who owns the car. Another marriage destroyed by money matters, And so I was scared I couldn't make it on my hello.
There's a kid just barging in here.
Yeah, kid, you just surprised you didn't get Super Soaker or something.
Yeah, I know. That's coming next.
Bucket of water.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the kind of little bastard I was.
Did you you have so many acting credits here I'm looking at, and you were in Beverly Hills Cop. You were in I don't know if you remember.
That's right, because team guys were looking out for team guys. Eddie Murphy wanted me to get that part because he was also in a team. He was in a and Bob Nelson and Jim Klaus Myers, and they That's where I first met them. Is
Yeah.
when I out of my team and I met them in the team, and they were kind of encouraging me I could go on my own.
Right.
And so that scene we did in Beverly Hills Cop, we improvised.
Oh, really?
It wasn't a book.
Oh, wow.
And I got so spoiled on riffing when I was on a movie set that when you had to stick to the book, it's like, oh man,
Yeah.
because they don't care
Yeah.
if you're Mr. Riff King, like it doesn't work everywhere. Learn the difference, you guys out there. Know when a riff goes and when it doesn't. Kind of smell the room. It's like a comic can smell. Oh, that bit he did didn't work. I don't think I'm gonna do my version of that topic tonight.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Did and you were also in Willow. Willow is
And we held the record for the most amount of superimposed humans into a blue screen. And we didn't even have green yet. It was blue back then. That's all they had. So we held the record for the most amount of blue screen people, beating even Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
Oh man, yeah, that's
that was a team as well.
Sorry, yeah, we got a little delay there. But yeah, it's quite a project to be a part of. It's very George Lucas did the story, and that's I always forget it was directed by Ron Howard. How's working with him.
And George. They collaborated on many of the scenes. So there'd be a day when George was on the B unit.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
We weren't all A unit. We were never out in New Zealand or on the set for anything except San Rafael, because there's no need to put us anywhere else. We wouldn't fit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just too many of us.
What's a life-size half-naked guy doing in the snow?
Right. Yeah.
6'4", brownie.
Perhaps what I best know you for, at least I quote the most, is you from Groundhog Day, Ralph in Groundhog Day.
Improv again. Thank you, Harold.
You got any flapjacks?
That was Bill's line. He threw that to me last second.
Ask for some flapjacks.
Well, I came up with I'm kind of vomity. I'm a vomity kind of guy. Watch out. Maybe. There was always like an edge of it. This could go wrong any moment thing. And Ricky is the more sturdy of the two of us, Ricky Dukeman, right? And and then Bill just gave up and doesn't care about our lives or anyone else's. It doesn't matter if the train hits him.
Yeah.
It's right. Yeah.
He took us on his death ride there, And, with most of that inside, we shot in a warehouse with the guys with planks of wood, rocking it like this, and the camera guy like that. And we had to do it a little more ourselves.
Was it hard to...
Star Trek. No, Star Trek is a left, right. There's always the guy that goes the wrong way.
Right, yeah.
Oh, your left,
Was it hard to act that inebriated in that scene, or were you actually intoxicated?
I was straight as you got to be. I could have had a beer and done it, but that's not how that one. I was, I wanted to impress Harold and show him I can do some physical shtick. So we came up with some sloppy shtick I could do with a slide by the door. It's like,
right.
He doesn't have a lot to say, so he could be more maybe the physical guy. But you don't want to steal the scene. Don't want to do like, I'm trying to take it from anybody. Just you're given a space, and how do you fill that space?
Right. Yeah.
Also, it's this crap sticking out way past the space and banging into everybody else.
Yeah.
But there you can make choices to fill just your space that people kind of remember.
Sure.
So that's like a good note for actors to have, is that in improvs, and when you're bringing improv in, and there was a ton of improv in that.
Which I'm sure is always appreciated by comics or comedians, whatever you want to call them. Yeah.
Just knowing when and when not.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Have the skills so you can make a living throughout.
What would you say your most, this is probably a tough question, but what's a work you're most proud of in your acting career?
Well, I sure love the work we were given to do in I'm Dying Up Here.
I'm Dying.
The Showtime's.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, have you guys seen
I've
have
seen
not.
I've seen a couple episodes.
There's work out of comics that we know, acting work. There's no other venue has given them the shot to show these meaty chops that they have. All these people that we know just for the comedy side are explosively good actors.
Yeah.
Brad Garrett, Judy Gold.
Yeah.
Just, the long list of people.
Right. Yes.
That made just Brad had me crying.
Yeah, that's
he commands tears. This guy's good.
Right. Yeah, it's when you're surrounded by that many good people, like talented people. Yeah, it's just
unbelievable. Oh, it's great. And so I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be a part of that. And The Informant.
Oh, The Informant, Matt Damon. Yeah.
Steven Damon. I got to be bastard grouchy fart boss.
Yeah.
Really not very much footage of him just kind of in a meeting. The FBI black and white hidden cam shot of him, talking about the deal. And he's just kind of, all right. So, all right, let's walk around your dressing room and figure that guy out a little bit, But that was one where you stick to the book.
Yeah. I mean, that's
not much in the way of playing around with that script. It is so finely tuned and written to match with the separate dynamic going on in his head.
Sure.
And I think that I'm going to go out and say I think that's some of his finest work too, Matt Damon's.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's,
I think he put out a performance that one day we're going to look back and go, that was out of the park.
Right. Yeah.
More recognition.
It was nothing like he's ever done, I mean,
No.
it was it was just like, and everything he said is just like he just digs himself further and further into this lie that he's telling.
His wig while he's talking like that. Killing me on the moments when he was dry playing me,
Yeah.
And just doing, I'm like,
it's so great. And then I have to mention The Office, you as Pam Beasley's dad, just because,
sure.
I mean, come on, it's
Now,
The Office.
He doesn't get to do much. Pam Beasley's dad is there to explain a thing. That's not really, he's not doing too much, but to watch.
Yeah, it's,
oh my God.
and to be a part of that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. I just love that. Jim comes up to you. He's like, "Oh, is this your niece?" And you're like, "Oh, it's my girlfriend." I love that that line. Go ahead.
So,
Dave.
Rick, you said The Office. There was a lot of improv going on in the delivery, because I remember reading that even a lot of what seemed like improv was written into the script. But was it actually different on set?
Yeah, a little bit different. Moments when the stars could play.
Mm-hmm.
Now do one for you, they say.
Yeah. Do one for you.
You gave me 3 for me. I think we got it. Check the gate. 1 for you.
Yeah.
and sometimes it makes it in.
Yeah.
And I've had those. And on the rarest TV occasions, they'll let you play a little bit. But it's a meeting every time you're talking. He's going to do a thing. And the script supervisors, oh, really? Do you what? How is it worded? He's going to play. Oh, so I have to watch. We'll watch replay. I'll get it on replay.
Oh man.
Thankless job of script supervisor when that kind of crap goes on the set. They're heroes. They're truly heroes.
Goodness.
Is there anything you're working on now that you're promoting or anything?
Well, we're looking at a June release for a comedy special I did based on a comedy game, an improv game called Set List. It's where you stand on stage with a screen next to you and they project topics that you have to go cold and roll into brand new stand-up material, one after the next, generally 5 or 6 in a row.
Yeah.
That's right. And I do an hour of that. So it's going to be a special of that.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that sounds great.
And it's going to be on Comedy Dynamics.
All right. There you go, folks. All right, that's the show. We are a show that like to invite comics on, actors, filmmakers, all that, to discuss a favorite film of theirs. It helps fans, get a different perspective on the film and what they think about the art form and all that. And the film we're speaking about today is Easy Rider. Rider from 1969, directed and starring Dennis Hopper, Peter Fonda. What was your first experience with this film, Rick?
My dad took me to see it.
Really? How
in
old
Manhattan
were
when it came out. Adult supervision, you can bring the teen in.
you?
And I looked old age, so I was a tall kid. So I was able to pull it off a little bit. And, no one bugged us.
Yeah.
It blew my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because every biker film I'd seen on TV previous to this one is the bikers are the destructive element to this peaceful little town. And it's disrupting everything, and the sheriff has no power against them, and they're nothing but terror and fear, and yet the teenage girls all want to go away with them, and
right.
And one after the next of these, they're two gangs, and they're shooting at each other, and the bikers are all the trouble. And this is like the complete 180 reverse of that. They can't get a hotel room, they can't get a meal because of how they look on their bikes. Everyone hates them.
Right.
Everyone. Except for the girls and the hippies at the commune.
Exactly.
And the prostitute. If it isn't for those elements, everyone freaking hates them.
Right.
I think that's interesting. And I'll just full disclosure. This was my first time seeing this film. I should have seen it a long time ago. And I'm glad we did. But I think that was a bit of a missing context for me. And I don't know if it's the same thing for you, Ben. That sort of anti-hippie hate is something I don't quite understand as we're sitting here in 2021. But yeah, sort of what was going on in the culture at that time is, of course, this movie came out in 1969. So I feel like watching it now, we're missing a little bit of what's going on. Of course, we can pick it up because the movie is so well done. But yeah, I didn't quite understand. So Rick, you're saying a biker would typically society would have seen somebody on a bike as a troublemaker and a bad guy. And that actually helps inform the reactions a little bit, because it seems like just blanket hatred towards them. And I didn't quite get it, but that explains it a bit.
And they're doing it intentionally to switch the roles around, role reversal, at moments over the top, but a lot of the times very subtle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Little crime, reflective moments, no time doesn't matter anymore. It's a little, some of it's a little straight out of college. Well, this means this and that means that. Look through the book. It doesn't mean anything anymore. And the shifty hippie con man who doesn't pay for the gas, and that's like the grifter element of the hippies. Because it's goddamn The Pusher Man is our first anti-hero song we hear from these guys.
Right.
They're not weed dealers; they're coke dealers.
Yeah.
Made their money from coke, which they're going on to say is, like heroin, and the contempt for powdered substances from the vegetation substance people. So they get the tube of money down the thing. It's still really about the money across America. A big American flag filled with money.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's there's so many subtle, little metaphors here and messages and subliminal messages. Yeah. It's definitely.
Yeah. They're not going to save America. He's not like Captain America saves America. He's going to get laid.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
He's going to get laid in New Orleans with his buddy, So these guys, but it's like he's the beginning of an evolution.
Right.
These guys never, a spoiler. I'm sorry.
No,
but, they never got the chance,
right.
to totally evolve into what was just beginning to dawn on them.
Yeah. The movie doesn't deify them, which what I expected I guess my expectations going in is that it would, and it didn't. And they kind of in the end were, certainly out of the barrel of a few shotgun blasts, but in a lot of ways they were failures in whatever it was that they were trying to find and do.
And it's the morality tale of your karma came and got you for all the goddamn the pusher man lives you took.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And it's so, I mean, what are they? I mean, are they? Was this their payday to finally break free of the drug life? You think like it was like their way of? It
is, but that's not.
Yeah.
I think the way the karma works for this storyline, you'll have your little odyssey. You'll go through your Homer's Odyssey, and you'll have the women holding up your schedule, delaying your time, just like Homer losing time to the pond with the temptresses. And then getting there and going to the horror house. Oh, and then poor Jack Nicholson, I sequel years ago when everyone was still around, like, say 15 years ago, I was playing around with this idea of a sequel to Easy Rider where you cut back to the mound of dirt where they buried Jack.
Oh, man.
And you hear, what the fuck? And you just see hands clawing out of the dirt.
Yeah. That would be brilliant.
The truck, watch me scare the shit out of these hippies. And he pulls up next. He goes, hey, hippie, why don't you get a haircut? And then you hear, bam!
Yeah.
It's the front right tire of the truck. And the truck just tumbles and bursts into flames like a scene from Alien. And the two guys ride off into the sunset,
Yep. Yeah, you would that was kind of the ending I was expecting, that's for sure. We didn't get it. What stands out for me is just you could tell Dennis Hopper is just totally experimenting as a director in this film.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, his crazy transitions he does where he'll like the flash into the next scene.
That's some film school fun.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all it was. Because typically, I mean, if you use that type of transition, you're like flashing to something that's going to happen like later on in the film. But no, it's just a transition to the next scene.
It was a transition, yeah.
It's like, hey, man, let's try this, man. Let's just have it flash, man.
And it works.
Yeah.
It's cool. I would use it as much as Trinity frozen in midair in the Matrix. That's been used. Those things you can use to death. That horror scene where someone's dragged backwards on the floor, all done with that one. So, there's a few standards. Maybe we can do a couple more flashback, but don't overdo it.
Right.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
We see the trick after a certain point.
Yeah. And the cinematography in this movie is just outstanding. I mean, it's just a beautiful film to look at. I guess this was like kind of the start of the sun flare, like the sun flare in the lens.
Well, there were a few 60s films that used it.
But I think it was I read anyways it was Go ahead. What was that?
Magic Hour, where they throw the sun dogs and the parallaxes out.
Yeah. But it wasn't like total popular yet. Well, just now you see it, all the time. But it's just
on board the Enterprise now. It's even on board.
Oh, it's all over the place in the new Enterprise. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found this to be, in a lot of ways, I guess if the right word is meditative film, or the earliest version of like a music video, and I'm just in many of those scenes, I'm just kind of sitting there, just taking it all in, and I'm genuinely relaxed, and I'm enjoying the setting just in the way the characters are, where they're pointing to the mountains and all that stuff. I'm
be a bird.
Yeah. Definitely. This
you know who was originally supposed to be on the back of the Harley?
Who?
Rip Torn.
Rip Torn. Get out of here.
Yeah, it didn't work out. So Jack Nicholson came in and did the part.
Thank God. Oh, man. Yeah. I can't imagine.
Yes, but I tell you about. Yes, let me stop. I got to tell you about Angie Dickinson.
You hear about those UFOs?
Yeah, I'm a head of an agency.
Oh, man.
Goodness gracious.
It's so great. Yeah, and I guess... I'm sorry, I didn't know if someone was saying something. Dennis Hopper, I mean, I guess they, were actually smoking joints in this movie. I guess Dennis Hopper wasn't the best director to work with. He was constantly getting in riffs with the crew and everything, and crew would quit, just on the spot and things like that. So yeah, he wasn't in the best mindset for this movie.
That's what I would. There was a little bit of turmoil on the set.
Yeah, which was interesting to read about. Because I think Peter Fonda, he wanted Dennis Hopper involved, and Dennis Hopper said he would come on to as long as he got to direct, and he agreed. And even him and Peter, I guess, were going at it a lot. And Peter, as a producer, tried to get him fired many times. I read. Maybe this is true, maybe it's not, but it's just interesting.
The first time.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But that's one thing I feel like I wish we got more Dennis Hopper, classic Dennis Hopper. I feel like his character, he's there, but he's not like the Dennis Hopper we get to know. Like he's not Apocalypse Now Dennis Hopper.
It's rare when he gets to be a good guy. When he got to be a good guy.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I
definitely.
Think that's one of his best guys.
Yeah.
Billy.
Yeah, that's true.
Leave it there, because then it's,
Yeah, Blue Velvet.
Yeah.
And it's funny because his character it devolved as the movie went along. He was sort of, the Peter Fonda character, Wyatt, it seems like he's sick of him. And I don't know, it felt like people were just annoyed by his Dennis Hopper's presence. He was just being like just irritating and like a wild man.
He had that laugh.
Yep.
Not always belong where laughter goes,
Right.
So that was he's supposed to be this irritating, troublemaking firebrand of a guy that he's the one that got everyone killed, by the way.
Yeah. Bam.
Boom. Well, I got to get the witness now.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what it was. The other guy saw us, got turned around the truck around.
Right. That's true. Yeah. Because the Jack Nicholson death, I think it was just the town they were in. But it was interesting to see how a town, it's about anyone who's different from you. So, like back then, with the civil rights movement and everything, it's African Americans, like, oh, what are they doing in here? Whereas these are like, they have long hair and a mustache and nope, you don't belong in our town. It's just, It's so interesting to me that, you get that, we alluded to it earlier, obviously, but you get that aspect of this era. It's like, it's not just,
and sometimes the only thing that's changed is now there's guys with long hair that look like hippies that talk just like those guys.
Right. Yeah.
There's guys that feel you that just have longer hair.
Right.
Beards now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's
finally caught on to the hippie thing, and now the hippies don't all have long hair.
Right. No. Yeah. They just have long beards.
Regular, yeah.
Yeah.
They look like they're older, regular people.
Yeah. They drink craft beer.
Never flipping around.
Rick, can you tell us a little bit about the difference between squares and hippies? Because that seems to be a thing going on here. Because it's with Jack Nicholson, I guess, would be a square, even though he has a little bit longer hair. But
he's square.
Yeah.
About UFOs, and they've been coming here for years, and swamp,
But he doesn't.
Go ahead.
He's an alcoholic, right? I think that's one of the things. I think kind of showing. I guess everybody has their own problems. I guess, but I didn't quite. He sort of meshes with them very quickly. I don't know if it's because he has his own faults and he sees maybe that he's dealing with people who have similar to himself, but just in a different way. But I was just curious about that divide because I don't the hippie culture thing. I only know what I've seen in films like this, but I didn't live it. So if you have anything to tell me on this.
Well, the comparison is he admits he's kind of naive to certain ways of the world in one way, but the ironic contrast is in other ways, he's much more informed than our heroes are.
Oh, yeah.
And when they sit down on that camp and around the fire, he's the one laying out all the information from that point on.
That's true.
He's running the scene from that point on.
Yeah. I think, when he shows up, he's essentially running the movie. Like he's a breath of fresh air in this movie.
Every moment he's running the movie.
Yeah.
And, he was go that length of time, and then we're supposed to be with Karen Black. And
Yep.
She was amazing as crying to the parents on the statue while she's tripping as her first time.
Man. That scene, man.
Magnificent. And ultimately, Tony was fantastic as the other hooker,
Yeah. It's
so good.
So good.
That must have been something else to see. That whole sequence is really effective now and creeped me out. But it looked, something like you would see. I think there was a revival of this in the 90s with, and I'm thinking again to music videos, things like that. But that's exactly what this looked like in 1969. It is amazing. It's so evocative, showing all of this stuff.
Yeah. It broke a lot of ground at once.
Yeah.
It changed a lot of things at once.
Was this? I would assume this was a little controversial when it came out. I mean, with all the drug use and for that time. I mean, I would.
A few other things had come out so that it was in the midst of a wave of things, but it stood out in the wave.
Yeah.
It was the waves to come out, and this and the film Woodstock.
Yeah.
I mean, there were things, and it was already becoming a relatively, laughing is joking about it. Okay, everybody knows about it. So
right, yeah.
I'll smoke your, So.
Now, aren't you a motorcycle guy?
I have been, and not in the last few years.
Yeah.
Now that everybody is kind of looking more into their right hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
It's not the windscreen they're looking through.
Yeah.
No.
When I started writing, cars were not Las Vegas glittering, flashing entertainment centers inside the car where you're like NASA guy. You're not doing nothing but pushing buttons in your car and reading things, data reading stuff off in the interior of your car.
Yeah.
Right.
I know someone put the head-up display onto the windscreen like a fighter, but most
That's
cars.
crazy.
So the guys, all I'm seeing is the guy's right ear the entire time I'm behind him. And it got really dangerous, so I stopped writing.
Yeah. Did this movie inspire you to be a motorcycle guy? Or were you already?
Totally.
Yeah.
Now this, and I'm going to say a little bit of the Steve McQueen jumping the barbed wire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would assume so. Yeah, because I mean, 'cause the Peter Fonda bike I know was very customized and chopped, as they say. I think that's the term.
It's like a mile long.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's I've seen it. I've seen them, replicas of them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Captain America and the Billy bike. They're pan heads.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's so much nothing happening in this movie. There's so much, just shots of the scenery, which I love that kind of stuff. But I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on the whole scene when they're at the commune? What's the purpose of that? First of all, that one scene where they're like around the dinner table and they show every single person very slowly.
Really
and the
slowly, yeah.
Yeah, and the guy gives the prayer.
And the guy, Tai Chi, who's from the Star Trek episode, Charlie, his brain disappeared.
I think Rick is a Star Trek guy.
To see him after Star Trek, I was like, oh, someone used him again. Good.
Yeah.
It's like, seeing Buffalo Bill get hired again. Levine.
Yeah.
Someone, come on, man. Don't hold that against him his whole life. He's a genius. He's a great actor. Don't use one performance why we can't do this with him. Tom Hanks let him be an astronaut. Everything got okay again.
Yeah. Phew. That was
everybody out. Yeah.
What were your thoughts on this whole commune thing, David? David?
Well, I mean, I guess in going back just a second, you're like, I guess to distill it down, I was describing this movie to my wife, and it sounds kind of stupid, and it's with about 20 seconds to say what happens in this movie, but that's not really it, right? It's about 99% feel what this movie is, and I think it's two guys trying to figure out the world, as they're driving around with this drug money in the gas tank. And of course, and they get to even before that, they meet the rancher, which I think might be overlooked about this. And the Peter Fonda character is like, you got it all, man. He realizes it, but they keep going. And they end up on that hippie commune. And I don't know. I think it's really weird. I don't know what's going on here. It doesn't seem sustainable. And they mentioned the city, basically the city slickers who have come in and showed up too late and they can't feed themselves, kind of a thing. And I think it is to show in some way the movie kind of intentionally undermines its own ethos in a way that you have to keep pondering. Because we haven't found the answer yet. We're searching. And then, of course, our characters are left dead. It's very nihilistic and depressing, and it shows you examples of people that they meet along the way who are good, sort of not good. They got their own problems, and then, of course, the assholes in the small town. So I think it was to show you, okay, watch out, hippies. You have this idealized world that could work, and it's probably not going to actually. So that's kind of my just off the top of my head thoughts.
Can I say this?
Go ahead.
Can I add that
Go for it.
there are several opportunities for them to participate in a sort of meal benediction, and that is the whatever the grace is.
Yeah.
The cowboy and his Catholic wife and the many children, and they say a grace. And the guys are these are symbolic of moments of potential redemption. You could stay in that guy's world if you didn't go any further. This place where all you want to do is get laid and get high at the end, after killing all these, maybe killing people with coke,
Right.
and one chance, and we're going to move on to the next one. You get another chance when they're doing the blessing. All these blessings are opportunities to say you're welcome to this and you could stay.
Right. Yeah.
Going to stay here. You don't have to go any further. If you stay here, put that money into this place, we'll all live happy a long time.
Yeah.
You're going to blow it all, then you'll be dead.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's
that is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's just so it's very like you said, Dave, like on paper this movie just sounds like, okay, that's what was the point? But yeah, it's definitely about the feel and about just the journey,
The utopia is not at the end of the road, right? You got to deal with some kind of reality. The thing that you want, that's in your mind and you're not going to be satisfied to get, just doesn't exist, and you have to somehow plant yourself here and do the freaking work to make it work. And I guess maybe
utopia is possible. You just don't get it for free. Every other place they stop, they have a work ethic for their dream. Dealer doesn't have a work ethic for their dream. They move this, they shift that, and suddenly they're rich because they took one risk.
Yeah.
And so it's the lack of work ethic is a big message here for these guys.
Rick, how many hippie communes did you join?
No, I've driven by a couple. I think I might have poked in on one, but I don't mind it. I think it's a fine idea, and I wish them all the luck in the world. I'm here to help run defense for you guys. I'm kind of set in my ways. I got some comfort. Hey, look, if society starts to collapse, I'm going to have to adjust to living in a commune. It wouldn't be the end of the world for me because, I don't live in the status sphere.
Yeah. And, I mean, at least you didn't join because, you never know where you would have ended up because 69, I believe, was when the Manson murders happened as well. So,
Goodness gracious.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, now, see, there's a whole other thing. I don't...
A lot of stuff happening at this time.
I wanted me laughs. That's all I wanted.
I want to have a good time.
Bong bong, is this thing on? Hello.
Go ahead, Dave.
No, real quick. There is this sense of wanting to return to something more traditional and return to the land. And I think people still feel that way. It doesn't seem like it was ever, certainly wasn't fixed with the hippie generation. I guess they all just got older and got comfortable. I don't know. I feel like our generation, Ben, they still want the same thing. But it is hard and no one knows how to do it. But there is that yearning inside all of us, I think, who live in these cities and in finely tuned suburbs and all that stuff. That hasn't gone away, and I don't know what the answer is to that.
Yeah, well, and I think the characters don't know the answer. I mean, Peter found it. He's got this thing about him this whole movie where he's just kind of sitting back and just kind of pondering about things. Like he definitely doesn't fully know what he wants. It feels like Wyatt doesn't. Like it's he's one of those that just kind of sits back and he almost seems depressed this whole movie.
Definitely.
And then at the end, after Jack Nicholson gets killed, and they do the brothel thing. I think they're sleeping by the campfire. He says like, forget the line. He says like, we failed. What was that?
We blew it.
We blew it. Yeah.
What does that mean? What did he mean, Rick?
There's no big shiny dream at the end. You went to the Mardi Gras. You got laid. You ate steak. Drank wine. Now you're riding home.
Yeah. They got their meal, right? Big deal.
That was the fireworks show. They got the meal. They ate, but they already got laid in the water pond.
Yeah.
It's like the special the magic specialness of it, just this one thing for that one thing. It's kind of you had all these opportunities earlier.
Right.
Happiness waited you earlier. You didn't have to go to the one thing that was just known for debauchery or whatever. And look, I don't even know if it was that much of a morality tale in and of itself to say that it's the amorality or the immorality of Mardi Gras necessarily. Right. It was just showing them the mindset. It was showing everybody the mindset of people who, what are you going for? What do you see your future to be? You know, and if you don't have any idea and you wander in, you could get eaten.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And
it's the superficiality of what Billy wanted.
Yeah.
He just wants this moment, man. He just says everything is just this moment, take and eat and fucking touch and whatever. Yeah. He's supposed to be the completely non-contemplative guy.
Well,
so they did have to be the exact odd couple opposites of each other throughout the movie too.
I like how they do. If there's one happiness or happy thing that did happen, I think they enlightened Jack Nicholson. Like, I think they helped him. Like, because they make the little line like, "Oh, your father's going to be upset." He's like still answering to his father, and like, so they bring that up, and he's like, "I'm just going to go with these guys. Feel what it's like to be free. From all this and go on this journey." And they gave him that essentially. Yes, it was tragic that he ended up dead, but in a way, he died in his sleep. It seems like. So, I mean, not to make his death.
And it's weird. He'd found a freedom he'd never known.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So you can kind of, spin it a little to make it seem like, not even make it seem, it's they touched this person. They affected him in a good way, for him. They gave him that freedom,
He seemed like he lived more in those couple days than he was living his entire life. And he got to do it with his old football helmet. He looks like
Yep, and he was. I think that was Michigan Wolverines. My Michigan Wolverines sweater he was wearing. So sorry, Dave. I have to mention Michigan in every episode. But yeah, I mean this. It's just one of those. I mean that whole acid trip scene's just crazy. I guess when Peter Fonda's talking to the statue, Dennis Hopper insisted he pretend it was his mother, who I guess committed suicide when he was 10 years old. So like that was actually him, like, kind of talking to his mother saying like, "I love you, but I hate you," like that whole thing. Like, and that's it's powerful, man.
And you know what? He didn't have an ILM or special effects. Right. He had some light, and I think he shot with Super 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
And natural Super stage, and then it's like it's that grainy. It was just it was its own unique thing. It was different from the rest of the film texture in the film. And you think budget, how do you do that? Well, Super 16. Maybe,
Yeah, exactly. That and the scene when they're all walking down, like they're with the two girls and they're walking down like
it's like a whole movie.
They're in Mardi Gras. They're watching the parade and stuff, and you can tell that shot on like Super 16 or something. And
right. Well, you don't want to bring a 35 into Mardi Gras while
exactly. Yeah, because you can see like
16 works fine. Little guy.
Yeah, you can see people like watching them walk by. Like, what are they doing? Like, I think I recognize that guy.
I have to ask it, guys. Make it like they're looking at you being crazy people. Right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. I have to ask a little bit before that. When they meet Jack Nicholson, obviously they awake in jail, and Jack Nicholson doesn't even know where he is. It's amazing. Right. It is amazing how he steals this entire movie essentially with his talent. But before that, they get arrested for what was it?
Parading without a
permit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now I have to say,
they weren't even on. They were foot walking the bikes along.
Right.
Yeah. So that's my question. I mean, they're kind of being annoying, aren't they? And I don't know if that's enough to warrant a night in jail, maybe a ticket, but they are kind of being a disturbance here, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the whole point is,
and
I'm challenged to risk getting arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah, they do. And it's and that's
but for what? For what?
For looking the way they do, and being in their town.
And look, if you're the screenwriter, you go, okay, we got to get him in jail by the scene.
Yeah.
What can they do that isn't so much jail time that there's just no fucking way they're ever getting out?
Right. Yeah.
Thing they can do that's also really cinematically fun.
Yeah.
What did our location guy find? Oh, there's a parade.
Yeah.
Like 10
Oh,
people.
hang on. Oh, I think I got it now.
Yep. That's the one.
Thank you, parade.
Yep.
Hi, everybody. We're going to be shooting a little movie scene on. I don't know if that's the case here, but maybe the parade. All paid for, but that's a lot of freaking people, man.
Yeah.
On that budget, if you read what the budget is, they got a lot of movie to make with that budget. I'm thinking, how can we make this work where we don't have to hire all these, put them in the spangly crap and everything? What can we do about it?
Right.
What do you got?
Looks
That we can just interject ourselves into, you know what I mean?
Yeah. This $360 to $400,000 budget.
Yeah, back then it was more, but
yeah.
So this was a big budget film.
it was a big indie budget for the time, half mil.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, it seems high. I mean, 69 adjusted for inflation. Let me do the calculations.
Yeah, do the math.
But yeah, I mean, Easy Rider. I mean, it's definitely you can see why it's such a classic. Great performances. Again, Jack Nicholson gets Best Supporting Actor nomination for this, rightfully so, I think. And yeah, so I mean, I read somewhere that some fans view the ending where they both get killed as kind of a happy ending. How do we make that connection? Is it a happy ending? Is it?
I see it completely bleak and empty and just nihilistic. That's what I see.
Yeah. I mean, it's a
happy ending, Rick.
I'm not going to attach a happy or sad to it, but it is kind of the morality tale of now you go, third opportunity to a redemption.
Right. Yeah.
Was this directed specifically to hippies?
Two benedictions around the meal, and then the third one as you leave your body, and the helicopter shot, which was not cheap either.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's I think it just shows consequences of your actions in the past, and just it's the tale of these people. It's it's sad. I don't think you can find happiness in it other than they lived their life free, and they died free. So I guess that's the one silver lining you could put, I guess, on the ending. But
I do like the way it treats the main characters. These guys are not heroes, and even in a time when these people would have been glorified potentially for their views. Of course, we have the local yokels who are that's a trope that's been done forever, basically, jerks or whatever. But yeah, I think So I mean, was this for the hippie generation? I mean, was this a cautionary tale for them of you're seeking this thing that's not there, and you need to kind of. When you might have a chance to make something right, do it, or to live a life that's maybe not. You got to compromise a little bit. I don't know.
I think it was just a demonstration of the challenges you'll face when you go across them. Don't think that just because you have hippie friends in this town that you're going to run into hippies everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
And so I don't know if that in and of itself is. I don't think that's the message of the story. I think the message of the story is about redemption and opportunities. Life will give you several opportunities. And then, all right, if you're just set in your ways, life knocking doesn't seem to get the door to open. So,
right. Yeah.
I agree with that. And even beyond that, just the pure, from a filmmaking perspective, this movie is hypnotic in a lot of ways. You just kind of sit and you're on it. I mean, I could see back in the day what people might have been on when they watched this movie, and it's their enjoyment, and I could appreciate that.
The like I said, they were actually smoking marijuana, but they apparently the coke wasn't real, but Peter Fonda said it was because they couldn't afford it.
Phil Spector does that empty spoon thing in the car. Did you see him do the empty spoon?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's yeah.
And that cracked me up the most because Phil Spector does the empty spoon.
Right, exactly. Well, because even
the doctor
now
says can't put anything fake up my nose.
Right, yeah, because don't they use like vitamin? I think now they like use like vitamin C for it or something like to make it look like
Malotol,
like,
baby farts or whatever.
yeah. Ugh.
We were doing some of that crap on I'm Dying Up Here.
Oh, really?
Really?
Oh, man.
Leo and I are in the back of the comedy club, and we're doing this Malotol stuff. And then you head to your trailer.
Yeah.
World. There's no path for that.
Yeah, not so much.
Might be worth mentioning quickly just that scene in general with the airplanes flying overhead. How like stressful that was for me to watch. Like you can't hear anything. It's like these giant planes landing when they're trying to do a drug deal. That was something else.
I love the Bond villain element of the big dude with the claw head walking stick and the Russian fur hat. Phil Spector. Then he goes, and Billy goes for the money. He goes, no, he's going to give it to Captain America, you know?
Yeah.
Phil Spector is
a total Blofeld moment, you know?
Oh,
Right.
totally. It's so weird and creepy. I'm like, what am I watching?
Well, this whole beginning is weird. Like it starts with them getting the drugs from the Mexicans, and then just like goes to an airport. They're at an airport now. It's like, wait, this is how the film begins, and then it gets into the wild thing.
They're on dirt bikes because they run border runs.
Yeah,
they're not crossing at the border; they're crossing in the middle of the desert.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was wondering that too because when
before
they
the wall.
Yeah, when they first pulled up, I was like, I thought this was a motorcycle film. Those are dirt bikes. Like, what is this? Yeah.
One tiny step along the way.
Yep.
That's what pays for everything. And
exactly.
Yeah,
that was a lot of money for 2 batteries worth of blow. You know,
Yeah.
you see movies with these giant trucks full of it, and they know that's $10,000 worth of cocaine. You know.
Right. Yeah.
it is interesting that the film never insults your intelligence. There's actually a lot left. There's quite a bit left unsaid that you kind of have to piece together yourself.
And that's what we do.
Filmmaking. I like being given credit. There are too many films where it's I'm holding a hammer. Here, take the hammer. Yes, I will take the hammer.
Yeah.
That's screenwriting 101, you know. Say everything.
Yeah. And I will use it to kill this person because
I will. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me that.
Yeah.
I was thinking, even Jack Nicholson's death, do we just really see the sleeping bag, right? I don't think we
get the forehead, like you can see his forehead bashed in.
But it's like really quick and like you barely see anything. Yeah.
Like, and then just, like Dennis Hopper scares them away with a knife, I guess. Like it's very quick and get out of here.
Yeah.
But anyway, Rick, any final thoughts on Easy Rider that we didn't get to that you wanted to say on the film?
No, I think that's the thought, you know. And if you build a chopper, get a front brake.
Yeah.
Do you know why they called them suicide clutch bikes? Is because in San Francisco, if you didn't have a front brake, there's really no way to stop when the light turns red and you're going up a hill or something like that. Keep going, and you might have to run the light, which might be suicide.
Oh man, ouch! Yeah, that's now you don't ride anymore, but do you still own any bikes?
No.
Yeah.
Like, I'm smart.
That's that for this run, unless everyone gets the Borg eye with Data playing
exactly.
on like a pilot. They can still look out at me. I'm not sure I'm going to do any more of that. I'm staying on the damn sidewalk or in my.
Definitely.
You know,
but
I've just seen too much. But it's just a great story, and it's a great piece of history.
Yeah.
This is showing a massive transition in how films are made and how people think. And then go and look at other films and look at how that influence. Oh, they totally borrowed that inspiration from this, you know?
I was watching this with my wife, and she couldn't really take it anymore, which I don't blame her. Like, I could see why people would be like, this is just too weird for me. Like, you got to be in the right mood, right mindset. So I don't blame her for walk. She's like, yeah, I'm done.
It's essential films, and it's on the list along 2001 and Doctor Strange. You know, a lot of.
Yeah. But no, it was. I really appreciate you coming on to discuss this with us. Where can people find you on social media?
At Rick Overton on Twitter.
That's easy enough. There you go. But Dave, did you have any final thoughts on Easy Rider?
Just to go bounce off of Rick before we get out of here, yes, history, and that's what intrigues me so much. History of film and the history of our culture. There's two things this movie's telling us, which is it's showing you a culture that, even as we said, we don't really we know the hippies, but this dives into it and shows you kind of what was going on at the time, and then certainly filmmaking. When you watch this, you go, wow. I mean, I think just this evening, I saw a Geico ad on of a guy on a motorcycle, and Born to Be Wild was being played. I mean, talk about impact on culture all these many years later. And I think that's what intrigues me the most. The culture, the U.S. culture at the time, and then the filmmaking at the time, and how that was evolving. Fantastic.
It's up there with the Ridley Scott flipping fan shadow.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely.
So I'm so glad to have Rick here. Rick, you were amazing. Your energy is unbounded. It's great to have you here. And and as I've said, this was my first time seeing this film, which is an embarrassment to me, but it got
good. You're a fresh initiate. You're going to watch it again now, aren't you? Go back again. Yeah, you'll 100%. See all the other things that are wonderful, little nuanced things. It's dropping a lot of stuff in there. It's not all subtle, and it's just a fantastic first effort,
Absolutely.
Definitely. Well, Rick, it's been an absolute pleasure. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure. And my pleasure. I always love talking. Hopefully I'll get to chat with you again one day.
There you have it, folks. Rick Overton. A lot of fun. Very, very cool guy. And again, we're already planning to have him back. So can't wait to talk to him again about a movie. Like I said, love the passion. Love when a guest has passion like that. Got a lot of other guests coming up that are exciting, and definitely looking forward to sharing that with you all. Again, you can get all the updates on the show at BlockbusterCast on Twitter, at Blockbuster Mentality on Instagram. Also working to revamp the website so it can be a one-stop shop for everybody, and that's where you can get past episodes and all that, just working out the kinks on it. So definitely looking forward to relaunching that and sharing that with you all. But anywho, again, catch you next time, and for Dave and Rick, I'm Ben, and as always, grab some popcorn, grab some snacks. We'll catch you guys at the movies.